Hi everyone, Eric Brook here with you today, carrying on from the last episode where I had a look back through time relating to my time in Japan, and then I found a whole heap of Facebook photos, etc. that from various times during the years, and I thought that I'd share some of them with you because I do have audio and video, so I thought that I'd share them and tell some of the stories that happened as a result of those photos. So let's go to that. Was the photo that prompted, or one of the photos that prompted the look through memory lane. Last episode I was talking about my time in Japan, and one of the things that I was doing walking through the snow. I was just staying in Shinjuku, and just up from where I was staying was the Shinjuku fire station. And I think some of these photos will actually come up a bit later. But it had been snowing for a while, and their driveway to the fire station was full of snow. So the firefighters here were shoveling snow, and I was taking some photos, etc. And so I can't remember how it exactly happened, but my knowledge of Japanese is basically non-existent, and they, I don't think, had much English. And somehow, who I presume was the commanding officer of the fire station, says, you can take some photos or you can give us a hand on the shovels if you like. And so I did, and I posed for this photo afterwards. So that was quite fun. So let's have a look. This is my current Facebook photo. 2023 in the old Thought Fox Media Group studio in Newcastle, in front of a green screen. I just like the effect of being in front of the green screen like that, and I really did like that photo of just me with a green screen behind. I do have a green screen here, actually, but I haven't used it for ages. So that was 2023. This is when I was looking into and eventually started going and doing some Pilates lessons at a gym, and behind me there was a big fan. So I called this one, I've got a big metal fan. So in a lot of ways, my look hasn't really changed all that much. The glasses may vary sometimes. The amount of facial hair, or in this case, not a lot of facial hair, changes, but I'm still basically me, as we'll go through. I've got a lot of photos on here. This is a view from my old apartment block in Newcastle West. This is one of my Facebook. I think this is actually my current Facebook cover photo. It's really before they started construction in front of me. So I'm looking from an 8 stories high in an apartment block, looking across Newcastle Harbour at sunrise. There's a street going by which is Honeysuckle Drive, and on either side of Honeysuckle Drive there's building sites that haven't really started construction yet, but they are fully finished now and fully open. And as a result of those two buildings going in front of me, I lost half the view. But having said that, I spent a good 2.5-3 years with a full view of the Newcastle Harbour. I moved there in May 2020, and I moved down in December 2024. So I had a good run there. And even when the view straight ahead was built out in front of me, I still had a view of all the boats and everything in the direction of the Royal Newcastle Cruising Yacht Club. So I still did have a view in the end. Oh, my scooter, when it had 2,000 kilometres on it, my scooter got stolen earlier in this year, in January. I've got a better model now. The photo of that's not on Facebook, but I upgraded. The scooter got stolen when I was at work. I was very sad about it. It ended up with about 5,000, or was it 3,500? No, it was about 5,000 Ks in the end. It finished up in the end. Oh, this is me during one of my blonde stages. A little bit of facial hair, but in the blonde stage with the orange backdrop. I can't even remember what the backdrop would have been now. Quite possibly at the near the hairdressers when after I got it done. So I have had some times where I have gone with the blonde hair. The Hunter line is closed, and as I'm recording this today, the Hunter line is indeed closed due to flooding. It's a shot at Newcastle Interchange with the display screen saying that the line is closed, and in the background there's a rather large tree. The Hunter line is closed, and it is certainly closed today due to flooding. Me in front of a welcome to Newcastle sign at the interchange. That would have been taken when I first arrived. Another attempt at a more professional backdrop. I think this was after a women's hockey final series where I'd done something like 4 games over the weekend, and I'm pretty sure this was at the pub afterwards. So I've just got a backdrop of leaves and the occasional flower behind me. And I think this would have been in the Thought Fox studios as well, in front of some soundproofing. Oh, this is the Bears celebrating their last Goodall Cup win. That was actually Newcastle in 2019. I was at home watching. I didn't get a ticket. I didn't have a job to do at the finals, so I wasn't there. Watched it on TV and watched the team celebrate. Me at the start of a season, not sure which season that would have been, commentating at the Macquarie Ice Rink in a... Why am I sending myself a parcel? At the Macquarie Ice Rink, wearing red and black of the Bears without actually wearing a Bears jersey to commentate. This one would have been at the Hunter Ice Skating Stadium doing commentary, but because I'm wearing a green shirt and no jacket, I'm guessing that's the middle of summer. Doing the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League commentary remotely in a production booth there at the rink. I have commentated there before outside without a jacket, but that's not very often. So I'd say that's what was happening there in summer. In summer, not in public view, and inside a production booth that gets quite hot. So it was t-shirt and pants weather, rather than actually outside at the rink commentating. Oh, this is from Heathrow Airport in London. I think this is from 2014. And they've got an observation deck, which, if I had the camera equipment that I do now, I would certainly make much better use of. But they had these binoculars so you could look out, but they also had them chained, and so I was able to. This was my standard. I'm looking forward to next year sort of file photo. So there's a rather thick chain stopping me from taking those binoculars home. I did most. Oh yes, this was funny. This is a screen cap from a test match in cricket in New Zealand, and I think they're playing India or possibly Sri Lanka. No, they're playing Sri Lanka, I think. And so you got the spin bowler bowling there. So you got the batter at either end. Behind the batter, you've got the wicket keeper. Then you've got the first slip, and so the bowler's coming in. Now, I've added that graphic, the emotional support fielder, and I actually don't know what you'd call them. A very fine short mid-on, really. Super short fine mid-on. Or as I'm going to call him, the emotional support fielder, because he's very close to the bowler. So if the bowler needs some emotional support, that's what he's there for. So he's the emotional support fielder. Which is interesting because you're up against a team, New Zealand are batting. The guy on strike's on 50 not out. The guy at the other end who's not batting is on 186, so maybe that's why they need an emotional support fielder. It was an ambulance at a cricket game. Unfortunately, one of the players had a bad injury, so there wasn't any play in a cricket game that I was watching and commentating on. I actually wasn't on commentary at the time. I was on one of my breaks while other people were commentating. So it was at Benson's Lane near Richmond, and one of the players had an injury that required the ambulance. So the ambulance was on the cricket field with the clouds in the background. Oh yes, I think this was after a heavy weekend of remote hockey commentary as well at the pub afterwards. Oh, one of my favourite photos. This was taken I took this at Melbourne Airport. They were doing a lot of construction, and the sign says, "Please do not lean on hoardings." So what am I doing? And I can tell you when that is. I think this was the Whiplash tour, which I did when I was doing Erk FM, I want to say 2012, without actually looking at the date. So the tour of the East Coast, it started in Sydney, it went to Brisbane, then it went to Newcastle, then it went to Canberra, then it went to Melbourne, and that was over a period of like 3 or 4 weeks. And so I took some time off work and did media for the tour. By the time that the tour reached Canberra, the promoter basically said, from what I understand, "I'm done, I'm bailing, you're on your own." And so it was then called the Hostile Takeover Tour, and a lot of the merch got sold for next to nothing to try and get some money back. And the people who had tickets for the Melbourne show got refunded and they got their money back. And because everything was already booked, they made it a free show for everyone just to come in and didn't charge anybody extra who wanted to come in. So that's my "Please do not lean on hoarding" sign taken at Melbourne Airport. Cool guy cricket commentary. What probably happened was that I was doing women's hockey commentary in the morning and then cricket in the afternoon. So I've got the sunglasses on, but the green shirt that I used to wear for commentary during summer. I did do some rugby league radio production and commentary at some stages, and so here's a view from the commentary box at the Penrith Football Stadium, as I prefer to call it. Not a bad view from the central commentary box, and then you've also got a TV that you can look at for replays and whatnot as well. So this would be New South Wales Cup level, so the level below the National Rugby League, the NRL. This one's a similar sort of view from a different commentary box at Cogra Oval. There's no play going on there at the time of this photo, but this is a view from the commentary box at Cogra Oval, pretty close to Sydney Airport and looking out towards the ocean there. That's another view looking towards the northern end of Cogra Oval. I did enjoy the, even though I'd sort of not really followed rugby league at that point. Oh gee, when was this? About 2016, 17, 18, something like that. But I still knew enough to talk about it, and I also knew enough. My primary role was to push all the buttons for a radio broadcast. So to produce the show and that sort of thing, and so the commentators didn't have to worry about pressing buttons and whatnot. So in effect, I was operating under the instructions of the lead commentator, but effectively I was the producer. No gaffer tape. This might have been through a for a gig. No gaffer tape on walls, and so someone's hung that sign up with gaffer tape. This is a night game. Or what? Yeah, this is Cogra Oval again. So some of the afternoon games turned into night games because there were 2 or 3 games. So it's a night view of Cogra Oval from the central commentary position, and a view towards the southern end of Cogra Oval in daylight hours. So there we go. That's where the gaffer tape was. There was so it must have been a sign in the commentary box to say, don't put gaffer tape up, and so yeah, the organisers have put that up because every organisation had their own commentary box or corporate box depending on what they were doing, and so that was the Hawkesbury Radio Central commentary position, and I was there to produce the coverage. So that would be a typical view of the action at Cogra Oval at the time. So you'd have the 2 commentators at the front, and then I'd be behind them. So I wouldn't necessarily need to see what was going on, but I would act on what's going on, and also like listening to the commentators and the cues for various effects, and coming in and out of the halftime break, etc. So if I'm not mistaken, from behind, and I could be wrong, on the left is my old mate Nick, who I did hockey commentary with, amongst other things. So with Nick, I've done hockey commentary, and he brought me along for rugby league commentary and cricket commentary. With Hawkesbury Radio, he was the head of the sports department of Hawkesbury Radio for many years. And next to him, if I'm not mistaken, that's my old mate JP. Next to him on the right there in the red shirt, he's a really funny fellow. Sort of can be as loose as I can be in the commentary box, but sometimes even looser. We also did some hockey commentary together as well. Great couple of blokes. Don't get to see them or talk to them as nearly as much as I used to, but certainly enjoyed their company then. So yeah, I would have been doing some, like a self-promo shot for hockey commentary. I'm wearing a North Stars lanyard, so that's how I can tell the hair. This could have even been during one of the periods where I was doing remote commentary from home, quite possibly. Interestingly, I don't have a cable plugged in for that headset. So another commentary box photo. This one's at Leichhardt Oval in Sydney's inner west. So this is looking towards the southern end of Leichhardt Oval. Gee, I've got more commentary box photos than I thought. And this is nighttime at the same oval, at Leichhardt Oval. More looking towards the centre of the field. So I think this must have been a game with Nick, because what he liked to do, he had a contraption where he had either like a plastic coat hanging around his neck, and that was or that similar material, but it was attached to a clipboard, so he'd have his team list on it, so he could just look down if needed and have his hands free, because he loved to talk with his hands, old mate Nick. Or at other stages, like he's done here, he's actually put his team list on the window, so he can see it without having to look down. Like some people have their team list in front of them on the desk, like that's probably the big league program on the bench there. But Nick preferred sometimes to do it, if he was able to have his team list actually gaffer taped to the glass at the CCP. Oh, there we go. There's myself and JP, my old mate JP. Just trying to think where that might have been. The foreground's rather, the background's are rather washed out there. Although then again, that could be the back. I think that's a back wall of one of the commentary boxes. I'm wearing that looks like the photo taken on the same day. So, I'm not sure why mine didn't have a cord. So I must have just been wearing the North Stars thing just to put a lanyard on, or I think have some accreditation attached to it, because I don't think that's right. I had accreditation, but they didn't have a lanyard for me to attach the accreditation to, so I had my North Stars one with me, luckily. And another view of Leichhardt Oval at night. New South Wales Cup. Oh, yes, this is a good one. Old mate Nick there in the St George jersey. And Connor there in the Bulldogs jersey. So Canterbury were playing St George, and so they decided to wear their jerseys for that particular game. Probably at Leichhardt Oval, because all these other photos are at Leichhardt. Oh, there we go. That answers the question. Sometimes I would take that photo just to say, when was that taken? That was the New South Wales Rugby League Grand Final of 2018. There we go. And there I am before the start of proceedings. I'll produce that coverage. And just looking from the back of him, I think that's my old mate Jono on the right-hand side. That looks like Nick and Connor there. Nick on the left, Connor in the middle. Back at another shot of me in the CCP. Oh, I love a Simpsons meme. It's my first day. Oh, me riding around on a train off duty with a Bears jersey on, trying not to look too conspicuous. Gee, I took more photos at football games in the central commentary position than I thought. So that looks like Nick and JP again. Oh yeah, this one. I was doing part of my certificate in training and assessing. And so for the workbook, we had to write down who was being assessed. And so I wrote target group to be assessed employees in Sector 7G. Another Simpsons reference for the win. And that just happened to be page 69. Performance criteria describe the performance needed to demonstrate achievement of the element. Follow provided safety procedures and instructions when working. Page 69. Nice. Yep, that's the one. The enterprise trainer and assessor skill set. Oh yeah, somebody took this photo of or shot of their TV while I'm being interviewed at the one of the hockey finals in Melbourne. I want to say 2018. Would have been 2018 because 2019 was in Newcastle and I wasn't there. Then COVID. So either 2017 or 2018. I would go anyway, even if I wasn't working in any capacity. But that's Jeff Coop there. Yeah, sometimes I have more than one of the same meme in my role. It's my first day. Oh, this would have been Flinders Street Station in Melbourne, down in Melbourne for finals for the hockey, and just me taking photos in my Bears jersey in various Melbourne locations. Bears clinched that year. Doesn't say what year. I want to say 2017 or 18. I don't even know where I found that, but that's BS40 instead of WD40. One of my earlier graphics for Simulated Erk. Now, I love this photo. This photo was taken at Sydney Olympic Park. It was a roller derby match there. And there's the skater that I'm focused on, and the blurring that I've really got here while the skater's skating hard. The background just blurs, and it just blurs to show the speed, which should probably skating slower than what that speed sort of indicates. But I really like that look, that everything's focused on that skater, and she's pretty well in focus compared to the rest of the background. My box! My boy's a box! I think that was a couple of computer chairs ago at my old place. Oh, and speaking of my old place, I must mention this here. I was talking to my mate Big J, who has appeared on the original Erk Pod before. Grew up with him, played cricket together. He's an interstate truck driver now. Hello, Big J. He was going past my old place the other day, and he says, "Oh, your old place is up for sale," and I was only ever renting there. And I moved out of there in May 2020 to move to Newcastle. And so he says to me, "Oh, next time I go past," because he still lives in that general area, but he's an interstate truckie, so he's away a lot. So he says, and this was about lunchtime we were having this phone call, and he says, "Oh yeah, saw your place for sale, I think. Next time I go past, I'll have a look and I'll take a photo for you." And I haven't been back there since I left there in 2020 to come to Newcastle. So what ended up happening was that, so I thought, oh yeah, okay, cool. And then curiosity got the better of me towards dinner time, about the time that I was going to bed, and I thought, I'm an idiot. It's 2025. I've got the internet. I can just do a search on where I used to live, and it will tell me if it's for sale or not. And so I had a look. 2-bedroom, weatherboard place, but its real advantage was the fact that it had a large block. 644 square metres, so the internet tells me. So it sold in, I think, October 2022. Actually, I've got it here. I've got it here. What it actually worked out. Oh, that's probably the post after the one that I want. Okay, so the place in Penrith I was renting. And so I never knew what it would go for if it was for sale. So in 2022, in basically the form that I left it in, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, carport, rather large area, 644 square metre block, not done up or anything like that. $930,000 I went for in 2022. and then it was advertised in 2024. It had an extra bedroom added, new interior, new exterior, new kitchen, dining / living area. The back and that was all really done up, and it was probably still a work in progress. They probably could have done more on the outside. And so that sold in 2024 for 1.031 million. So 930,000 in 2022. Then there's been renovations done with an extra bedroom added, because when I saw the listing first, it says 3-bedroom house. And I'm like, I live there for the vast majority, 95% of my life, and it's only 2 bedrooms. And then I was looking for the photos, and it's like, okay, this is what it looked like in 2022 when it was listed. This is what it looks like in 2024. So they've added an extra bedroom. So what they've done, when I moved there many, many years ago when I was a child, my mum had the main bedroom and I had the smaller bedroom, and we had the lounge room, and the lounge room had a fireplace. Then when they were building across the road from me many years later, the construction noise was getting to mum a bit. So she ended up moving her bedroom into the lounge room, because we weren't really using the lounge room as a lounge room at that point. I moved into her room, and then my old bedroom that I grew up in as a child, which only had room for some cupboards and a single bed, turned into the Erk Pod studio. And that's the way it basically stayed until we moved out. So the lounge room is now formally a bedroom, and the kitchen's been done up. Kitchen, dining and lounge room's been done up. So they do have a lounge room again. And bathroom's been done up, kitchen's been done up, etc. But yeah, that's a massive... I was once given the opportunity to buy the house many, many years ago. I'd almost have it paid off by now, but unfortunately I let Mum talk me out of it. But they would have had to put a lot of money into that. Oh yes, the International Ice Hockey Federation saying, "Oh, another week without hockey, we're so sad," right in the middle of the Australian hockey season. And I remember I quoted that, and I'm like, "Hey guys, we're still playing hockey down here. You know, we are a member country of the IIHF." Oh, we got some very early simulated Erk screen caps coming up. Oh, this eye exam. I had a look at the chart, and the third line, Erk, spelt with a K, and then in the fifth line, is the word meth, which I thought was interesting. So I was at the doctor's for some reason and snuck that shot while the doctor wasn't looking, or they were doing something else. So this is me at the start of another hockey year. Starting to dress up a bit at that stage, so that would have been probably 2018, probably 2019. Quite possibly could have been my last season at Macquarie before the pandemic hit. So I'm wearing the closest thing I had to a blazer and a button-up collared shirt. Oh, there's me old meow meow when Mum and I first got her many years ago now. She ended up coming to Newcastle with me, and then she ended up running away, unfortunately. Poor meow meow, I wonder what happened to her. It was just before Christmas 2020, and she used to like to hide on me a lot. She was a quiet cat. Didn't mind sleeping with me at all. And this one particular day, this is when I was living in the apartment in Newcastle West, was going to work and was looking around for her. to say goodbye to her and stuff for the day. And I couldn't find her. But by that stage, I was trusting her with the balcony. Now, I didn't know, so she must have been hiding. I didn't know she was still on the balcony, and so I'd left her on the balcony. I later found out when I couldn't find her the next day, I'm like, I think she's jumped over the balcony because she couldn't get any food or anything. A month later, I get a phone call from one of my near neighbours saying, "Oh, we've just seen your baby girl on the construction site across the road." And so I saw her, and I tried tracking her with food, and I tried capturing her, and every time she just kept on running. And then they started doing work on the construction site, and that was the last I saw of her. So I hope she's having an adventure somewhere. Yeah, I think this was a hotel in Sydney with the "Do Not Disturb" sign out the front door. Oh yes, my hockey premiership. I wasn't actually playing by this stage with the Mascot Jets in Sydney, but I was helping organise the bench and that sort of stuff, and we won a trophy. I actually donated the actual trophy, and then somebody welded that to a beer keg because it was a beer league. Number 69. Nice. Oh, I'd got something radiologised. Oh, that's one of the hockey shots that I'm actually quite proud of, even though I'm probably not doing a lot. So there, I got my stick on the ice. I'm waiting for a pass. I think I'm using some edges. And I picked up a unit. And there I am trying to be in a good position in front of the opposition goalie, trying to provide a screen in front of the goalie, trying to be a pain in the ass. The Sydney Sirens, just before they were about to win a championship, arm in arm, just before the final siren in Melbourne. I think that was the year that I was supposed to do commentary, but it didn't happen, and I found it out at the last minute. So I was a bit in the shadows that year. So one year I stayed in the hotel just up from Docklands, and it wasn't a bad view. That's I think the Melbourne Wheel, the Melbourne Star was still operating at that stage. There I am, number 69. So I played beer league for a couple of years. Wasn't too bad considering how out of shape and old I was compared to many of the other people I was playing against, but I was having fun skating out there and being a part of the team. I did enjoy it. Oh, I must have posted this photo in March of Homer Simpson, lousy March weather. So this would have been after a training session at the ice zoo. There it is, the date's right there, time's right there, 9:06 p.m. Would have been a Monday night, 2018. Not a bad tape job on the stick there. Having said that, I probably didn't do it. I can't remember doing it actually. Didn't mind a plane shot when I was on a plane or at an airport. Looks like Melbourne Airport. Oh, the Adelaide Oval. The Adelaide Oval in South Australia. It's the biggest oval, biggest stadium in South Australia. Adelaide Crows play there, I think. Does Port Power Does Port Adelaide share the same ground? I'm not sure. But these photos would have been taken when I was doing a stadium tour. And it was interesting because there was actually a Sheffield Shield game going on at the same time. So there were some areas that we couldn't go and visit, like the dressing rooms or any active commentary boxes or anything like that. But pretty much anywhere else we could go, including inside the old scoreboard. I think there's a photo of the old scoreboard coming up. So there's the old scoreboard on the right there. So you've got the two teams. Queensland are playing Victoria. So you've got the list of the batters and the bowlers and who's batting. The old manual scoreboard where you've got basically a big plank of wood, and they slide the different letters on to make the player's name, and they've got the roles for the various scoring things. So there's a couple of people who work inside that scoreboard, and next to it is the more modern scoreboard with a video screen attached to it. So that's a side-on view. So it's a couple of floors high there. So everything that's done in there is done manually. They give the guys a couple of little holes so they can look out and watch the play. But yeah, it's all done manually. There's another view of the Adelaide Oval. They've done a lot of renovations to it over the years, but they have kept, as we've seen in the previous shot, some of the old hill. Sheffield Shield interstate cricket, so there's not a lot of people there, so they were still able to run the stadium tour, so it wasn't a test match or anything like that, or Big Bash League. So they were still able to run the stadium tour. If you get the chance to do a stadium tour and you're into sports, do it. Still haven't done the SCG of Sydney Football Stadium one. I did the Perth Stadium one. Some photos of that may be coming up. And this one here in Adelaide, the Adelaide Oval. So another shot of the one of the grandstands there. Now this is the way that they do a sight screen these days. So they have some boards at the back, and then they just have, I guess that's canvas over a whole heap of seats. And the whole idea of that, for people who aren't into cricket, is so when the bowler's running in and they bowl the ball to the batter, because the speeds are so high, up to 160 kilometres an hour, they want a clear background for the batter to be able to see the ball coming to them at that speed. So they don't want any spectators in that area. They just want a clear background. So this is a Sheffield Shield game, so they'd be using a red ball. So red ball, white background. If they're playing with a white ball in limited overs cricket, they'd have so instead of the white that's there, they'd have black instead. So you've got a black background on a white ball. Makes it easier to see, so you don't have all these people and all the different colours of all the different people and seats and everything. So they do that for major, not everywhere in senior cricket, but definitely at the Sheffield Shield level, which is Adelaide Oval. They use that. Another view of the oval there. Lots of seating around. Very spectacular ground, and it's so close to the city. It's within walking distance. This would be a shot from, I want to say, one of the central commentary boxes, or definitely in the media centre. So they've got a good view of the action from pretty close to behind the bowler's arm. You can see the scoreboard at the far end there. Pretty good place to watch the cricket. It's another view of a grandstand. that didn't improve anything. So there's another view of the scoreboard, and yeah. Oh, actually, I think it's Queensland. Or is it? No, it is Queensland. Queensland against South Australia. So some binoculars would probably help from this sort of angle, but also you got the big screen as well. It's another view of the two scoreboards, and a little bit of the hill there, the traditional grass hill, still there, which is good. Oh yeah, this one's definitely from inside a corporate box with all that alcohol, with the scoreboard in the background there. Oh, so this is one of the guys that works. Sorry, this must have been the tour guide. But he's explaining how the inside of the scoreboard works and how they roll the numbers around to display the right number on the scoreboard. And so that's what he's explaining there. And this is how they put they've got a whole heap of the number plates. So they slide it onto the board. I think it's a metal board. They slide it onto the board, then they put it out into the slots so people can see it. And so this is one of the guys who operates inside the scoreboard. And so he's got a series of lights there so he can communicate with the scorers and also put on the scoreboard which batter is actually batting. So he's got a couple of different lights there. So he's got a perspex window to look out so we can see what's going on the field. And there's another view of that from behind the panel, and the view that one of the scoreboard attendants would have out the window. Would, I imagine, it get pretty hot in there. And so this one's an old sign, and it's got the target, what the team's aiming for in terms of how many runs they need to win. So that's an older sign that they've got just laying around inside the scoreboard. And this is a really good view of the scoreboard. So Queensland are playing South Australia. This is what you can tell from just watching this board. Queensland are playing South Australia. Queensland in their first innings scored 342 runs. And so South Australia are there. And so you've got the team batting at the moment. So Queensland batting. And they're on 100. They're 8 for 144. They haven't put South Australia's innings up. So it's got on the so on the left-hand side, you've got the innings totals, how many wickets are down, how many wickets have been taken at the moment. The two players batting, the one with the light on is the one who's actually batting at the moment, facing the bowler. Sundries are extras, and then the total is the actual score at the moment. Then the next column is the team that's fielding, and the different bowlers there and their bowling figures in the next column. And then on the far side is the batting team. And so it shows how they got out, how many runs they made, what the score was when they got out. So there's a lot that you can tell just from seeing that scoreboard. And here's another guy who works inside the scoreboard, rolling the numbers over when needed to change the numbers on the scoreboard from inside. And there's me in front of the Adelaide Oval old scoreboard. There's a bar in front. Not many people at the bar because there's not many people at the game, so I think the bar would have even been closed. And that's the city end grandstand, and maximum probably 10 minutes walk to the centre of Adelaide. From there it's really close to the city centre. Then we move on to some ice hockey from the ice arena in Adelaide. And you can't reproduce this photo anymore because they've done some renovations since. This is what I used to call the flags and banners end. And so you've got the Australian flag at the top, and then you've got the various state and territory flags, all of them there. So when they sing the national anthem, for instance, they'll look at the flags. So they'll look at the flags there. And so I did mention in another episode that I like to number my ends. Or name my ends, and that's what I used to call the flags and banners end, because you can't really see it here but on this photo, but when a team in hockey wins a championship, they put a banner up to say, hey, we won a championship, and so that's the end that they'd put all their banners on as well. Oh, now we must be coming up to the photos from the Perth Stadium tour. And so this is a food and beverage room, type A chicken. And so it's telling you to wear protective equipment, wash your hands, and show caution. So I saw this time, I think this is in South Australia, a cardboard police officer with a sign, shop stealing is a crime, offenders will be prosecuted. So this must have been when I did the tour, when I spent some time in Adelaide, then went across to Perth. So that's one of the local coffee shops. The best damn coffee and the best damn grilled cheese sanger for $9. Oh, yes, I think this was in Perth. I went past this one particular place every day, and they had different things on the chalkboard. Jake's, things I hate. Number 1, list. Number 2, irony. Number 3, list. Number 4, repetition. E, inconsistency. Oh, that's rather cool. And this must have been another day. I'm really bad at measuring the correct amount of pasta, so if you and 79 of your friends want spaghetti tonight, come on over. And then there was a big ass sale somewhere. Can't remember this one. There must have been a circus on. Jake's again, with the chalkboard sign out the front. The bags under my eyes are Prada. And a sense of humour, whoever was writing Jake's sign. Beware. Graffiti and vandalism are crimes. And people have vandalised the sign, because of course they have. It's a countdown timer for a set of traffic lights, I think, in Adelaide. Don't mind me an airport shot. That reminds me of Adelaide Airport. Oh, this is me at the beach at Sunset in Perth. If you ever get the chance to go to Perth, go to a beach at sunset and watch the sunset into the Indian Ocean. We normally don't get a chance to do that on the east coast of Australia because the sun rises in the east, so we see it in the morning, and we don't get to see it set into the ocean in the afternoon because that's what happens in Western Australia. You could be a pedant and say that the sun doesn't set doesn't rise or set, but I enjoyed that. So I was boarding a flight and probably made a hockey-related joke at the moment, general boarding. A rubber ducky wearing a lifeguard shirt and a life buoy saying please donate. Don't even remember taking half these photos. An old ball and chain. I think that might have been in Perth. So they've got an old leg iron on the ground, and then suspended in thin air is a big chain and then a ball hanging somehow in midair. Oh yeah, this might have been Cottesloe Beach in Perth coming up to sunset. It's another angle of the ball and chain. As I said, I don't remember taking half these photos. Oh, this is a platform indicator at, I want to say, Perth Station. Platform 6 not in use. Oh, now this is a great idea, and I've actually tried to suggest it in Sydney, but it's fallen on deaf ears. This is from the Perth Underground Station, which, funnily enough, is in Perth. But it was Perth's first underground station. And so they had a concourse level and a platform level. So there's 2 levels. And the lift goes between each level. Now, in Sydney, what they'd do in a lift is they'd have C for concourse or P for platform, or C for concourse, S for street. We're talking a train station environment here, but Perth's got a really great idea. You get in the lift and you press this big button that says go. So it doesn't matter if you're on the platform looking to go up to the concourse, or on the concourse looking to go to the platform. You know, you might not even know what a concourse is, or what a platform is, or in a rare example, not in a railway context, they might have mezzanine, and you might not know what a mezzanine is. But if you go into a lift, and instead of, concourse street, concourse platform, 1, 2, 1 ground, etc., you just press this big button that says go, and the lift goes. And it doesn't matter where you're going because that's where you're going. So you just press the button that says, the big red button that says go, and it goes. I think that's a great idea. And apart from anything else, it's only one button. So because that was a new installation, they would have installed it like that from new. Probably more difficult to do a retrofit, but I reckon for somewhere that's simple, that's only got 2 levels, I think that's an ideal solution. Now, I remember seeing this and thinking, longs and longs. Many people from outside Australia think that we talk funny, we have weird sayings here in Australia, and we do. But having said that, each state has got their own things as well. So what they're saying here on a construction site in Perth is basically wearing long sleeve pants, long sleeve shirts or jackets. But over there, according to this sign, they call it longs and longs, which I thought was interesting. Oh, here's me at Coburn Central. Now, I didn't actually know this at the time, but eventually I would be commentating on hockey games that was played at Coburn. And I knew that it was pronounced Coburn Central, not Cockburn Central. But me being a 13-year-old boy, and so I already knew when the Perth Inferno started playing over there at the Coburn Arena that it was actually called Coburn, not Cockburn. But there was a gentle reminder before the season started that it was called Coburn, not Cockburn. Is it escalator sign in Perth? Small children must be held firmly. Stand facing the direction of travel. Keep your feet away from the sides. Hold the handrail. No bicycles, prams or push chairs. Please use the lifts provided. Some places like to use the term push chairs. Other places, like here in New South Wales, would call them strollers to carry babies. Push chairs. So, example of AFL merchandise in Western Australia between the Eagles and the Dockers. And I do like this as well. This is near an escalator in Perth. When you're going onto a freeway, motorway, call it what you want, when you're trying to go the wrong way, it has these signs on the ramp that says wrong way, go back. But this is for an escalator at a train station. So it says, wrong way, go back, escalator operating in opposite direction. Oh, another sign from old mate Jake. I'm not sure how many problems I have because maths is one of them. Well played, Jake. Well played, sir. Some training going on at the Coburn. Oh, this is when I went to the Coburn Ice Arena before I started doing commentary there. And they've got a really cool setup in there where you can go to this hockey-themed cafe and you can actually watch the hockey action from inside the cafe. Which is really cool. I can't think of anywhere else in Australia that's got this. So what they've done here in WA, this is a relatively new hockey rink. So instead of putting all their flags and banners at one end like they have at other places, including what we saw earlier in Adelaide, here in Perth they've actually got them all at above, hanging from the ceiling at centre ice. They are missing the Northern Territory and possibly it looks like the ACT flags there. It looks like they're missing the Northern Territory because the Northern Territory normally don't play in hockey events, so that's probably why. So I think this is the scoreboard end. And so I had no idea when I was actually visiting this rink. I had no idea that later on I would be commentating games from that rink. And I say it like that was because I was actually never there actually commentating. I was doing it remotely from Newcastle. But I can say that I've been to the rink. But I was doing it remotely from a TV screen in Newcastle. So various shots of the Coburn Ice Arena. So some spectator room as well. So they've got this rink for hockey, and then behind that wall is actually another rink for figure skaters and general sessions, etc. So it's quite convenient. So you can have potentially hockey there at any time, and it doesn't interfere with the operation of the rest of the rink. So some advertising there behind the benches in the penalty box. And it was really cool because when we started doing commentary there, basically in the centre of that photo, they had a scissor lift there that we used to send our camera operator up in. So they got a really good view of the action. elevated on a scissor lift. So yeah, that's from the Cafe 401 end that we saw earlier. Some more shots here. And that's the entrance from the outside, rather nice. And it looks like it's not that far from the beach in southwestern Perth. But it actually sort of, to me, gives me that beach vibe, which is cool. I think we're getting into some Perth train shots now. It's one of the original style of electric multiple units in Perth. Oh, now we're in Armidale. So we've gone to the end of the line to Armidale, platform 2 to Perth. And unit 241 that we saw earlier. So there's an interesting advertising sign warning people to keep off the tracks. And there's a whole lot of CCTV images on the left-hand side of this advertisement, which is located up against the platform. Our CCTV cameras can see the pimples on your face. Imagine how easily we'll see you crossing the tracks. I like that. I'd even forgotten I'd taken that photo. Tapping on with the Perth Smart Card. There's a interesting priority sign with a baby holding a stop sign saying stop, priority seat. Oh, there I am. The reflection of me in the window in Perth at Armidale. I'm not even going to try and say Armidale backwards like is written on the sign there. Again, platform 2 to Perth. Nice clear signage. We saw that one earlier, the wrong way go back escalator sign. Another sign of Coburn Central, just in case I missed it the first time, I think. It's probably the same photo, realistically. Now, this photo here shows one of the fascinating things for me in relation to Perth's railways. There's the Northern Line. They keep on changing the names of their lines because they keep on extending it. There's the Northern Line, and then now there's the Southern Line that run in the middle of freeways, which is rather cool. So the corridor, the transport corridor in that area is huge. And so you've got like 3 or 4 lanes of freeway traffic on either side, and then down the middle is 2 railway tracks. And every so often you'd have a station, and above the station you'd have a bus interchange. So it's a really cool thing, and also it's good advertising for the train, because if there's peak hour traffic and you're stuck in the car driving to Perth, well, then you can imagine what it'd be like being on the train and zooming past them at up to 130 kilometres an hour. And so, again, this shot from on the train looking out towards the freeway traffic. So yeah, if you get the chance to go to Perth and have a chance to go on the trains, and you've only got a limited amount of time, get the north route or the south route that has the freeways in the middle. From memory, it's the Mitchell on the north, the Mitchell Freeway, and the Kiwana Freeway on the south, from memory, where the railway operates down the centre of the freeway. And there's another shot with a nice shot of a car all by itself. So I've obviously taken a few of these photos while I've got the opportunity. So here's me standing next to the system map. Since I've been to Perth, they've actually added a couple of extra lines, including one now to the Perth airport. So you can go to Perth airport, get a train directly to the city. There's another line extension going on, and the southeastern line, which I'm pretty sure that's the Armidale line, they call it that at the moment, has been closed for quite some time while they'll remove a whole heap of level crossings and extend the line. It's one of the newer, I think that's the B series Perth train. There's been another series of train that's been placed into service since the last time I was there. And the end of the line, but clearly there's room for the line to be extended. And back at another station. So this station's really interesting actually. I forget the name of it at the moment. But what they've done, it's the terminal. It was the terminal station at the time of this photo, but not at the time of recording. So you've got the two train tracks with a platform on either side, and then at the western end, at the terminal end of the station, you've got a series of windows which blocks the sunlight from coming into the station building. But the only problem with that, and they probably partly did this with this in mind, was that since they've extended the line, so that section of windows actually had to be ripped out because the train line got extended from there further west. So I'd like to see some photos of how that actually looks now in comparison. I probably wouldn't recognise it, to be honest, but I think they were talking about doing those extensions while I was over there. Thornley is the name of that station, if I remember correctly. So that's the platform display. It's me again in Armidale. I always have to laugh when I see the name of a railway station that I'm familiar with in Sydney in use on another system, in this case Ashfield. Very different station, Ashfield in Western Australia compared to Ashfield in New South Wales. Now this one's interesting, and I forgot that I'd taken this one, and this one's not actually not a bad idea. There's a platform, and at the edge of the platform you've got the white section between the edge of the platform and the yellow line. Behind the yellow line you've got a series of tactile tiles to indicate to someone with visual impairment that they're coming towards the yellow line and they should stay back. Now there's another gap between the tactile tiles and another line, which is another yellow safety line, but it's a different shade of yellow, and it says, for kids, it's safer behind this line. So what they're saying is that for an adult, it's fine to be closer to the edge of the platform, but kids should be further back, and so that's not actually a bad idea. Oh yes, here I am in front of some old signalling levers that are on display at Perth Station. And there was a fire while I was over there. There was a fire at Perth Station out the front, and so they had it all blocked off, and a news reporter for Channel 7 is doing a news report on the fire. And there she is, Channel 7 news reporter. And there's some of the damage. There's some of the damage that was done. So extensive damage in a heritage building as well. So that would have taken some time to repair. We're back to ice rink photos. The Zamboni at Coburn Ice Arena, because it depends on the order of which I've uploaded the photos. And so there's me before I was going to go for a skate. Met up with a couple of friends who live in Perth. This is the other hockey rink the other rink that I was talking about earlier behind the wall. So this is the general rink for figure skating and also for the general public. So it's totally separate from the hockey rink, so both can operate independently. And so there's a view of some skaters on the ice and some various shots coming up of the ice rink. The latest rink to open in Western Australia. So I'm about to get on the ice here, I think. So there's room for people to sit down, etc. And it's a big size, Olympic size rink. Here I am again. Imagine how many photos I'd taken myself if I was actually hot. Must have been like a night disco or something. So different colour lights and whatnot, which is cool. Back to the hockey rink, back to Cafe 401. I've seen that one before, of the policeman with the cardboard sign. Not sure why I took a photo of that one. Maybe I knew someone called Piper, who knows. Cheese Sanger, I've seen that one. Oh, so this is at, I think this is at Perth Stadium. You know how some people, when they ask a question, the tone of their voice really changes towards the end. So there was a tennis tournament going on, so I took some photos. Oh, so this is going to be cool, because this will coming up to a series of photos that I took at the Perth Stadium tour. The newer sports stadium. For commercial reasons at the moment it's called Optus Stadium, but those things change. So if it's not used for commercial reasons, they call it Perth Stadium. So they don't have to change the name of the stadium and the signs and everything about the transport every time a sponsor changes, which could potentially happen every 2 to 3 years. So this is a couple of lifts to enter the stadium station, but there's signs saying that the station's closed because there's no events on. So they tend to only operate the station if there's special events at the stadium. So just some photos of the outside of the stadium. So a rather nice walk between the stadium and the station. And a great view from a nearby bridge looking over towards the city. Over the water, nice blue sky with some clouds and the Swan River. Busy road over the river. Back to that photo again about the food and beverage chicken. Oh, the players' wet area. Oh, so we're starting to enter the stadium tour. So this is a door which leads to For instance, you've got your hot and cold baths and spas and saunas. So they've called this section the players' wet area. Wet area West Coast players. So there's one for the West Coast Eagles, one for the Fremantle Dockers. And then we go to a skyline shot of Perth. It's a beautiful city, Perth, if you ever get the opportunity. So this is me at Optus Stadium, at Perth Stadium. So this is set up at the moment at the time of the photo for AFL mode. You may be able to see the AFL goalposts at the far end of the ground in front of the big screen there. So various shots of the in the round grandstand seating, I should say. So this is 2018 these are from. So I'm in these rather nice seats waiting to start the tour. And I think it's also a way that they can say, oh, you like these seats? Sign up for a membership. So the tour guide's just going to explain the tour in these nice comfortable seats before we get started. And they've even got, I don't know if this is more the corporate / season ticket holders, but they've even got cup holders. Rather comfortable looking seats for, and this is an outdoor stadium too. One of the players' dressing rooms. So this is set up for the West Coast Eagles. So the West Coast Eagles and the Fremantle Dockers in the AFL, they share the stadium, but they've got their own dedicated dressing rooms. So this is the West Coast Eagles dressing room, and you've got the interchange bench at the side of the oval, where the players come on and off coming off the bench to take part in the action or to have a rest. And here I am on the boundary. You couldn't actually go onto the stadium. There's a good view of that end of the stadium with the big screen at either end, and set up for AFL at the moment with the goalposts in. Also they play AFL in the summer, AFL in the winter, cricket in the summer, and they have some concerts, etc. there as well. So various field shots. No roof. So we're now in more of a corporate / media area, I think, or more of a way that you can talk to your players, show them some video, etc. So this is the way out onto the field from the dressing rooms. So come out through here, do some practice inside too if need be. I think this must be the neutral dressing room, or if not that, the Dockers. Certainly not West Coast colours. So spa baths for the players for their after game recovery. Okay, spa pool rules. Now this one will be of interest to Shauno and Jenna, because I was at a hotel in San Luis Obispo once, and they had all these rules for the spa. Spa pool rules. That's a hard one. This spa is a heated water environment, and if you are concerned it may adversely affect you, it is your responsibility to seek medical advice. Do not put your head under the water. Do not overflow spa water. Do not use the spa while under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Certain medications may produce adverse effects. Do not use the spa alone. Now this one got me on 70,000 tonnes of metal that was on a cruise ship, and they had spa baths with capacity of 4 people, but because it was there for a heavy metal show, the rules just went straight out the window. Do not use the spa for any more than 15 minutes at a time. I can be in a spa for a lot longer than that, except to go to the bathroom and to get something to eat. I was in a spa one day for 12 hours on 70,000 tonnes of metal because there was a storm, and so all of the music on the outdoor stage of the ship got cancelled. So I was just up there enjoying the spa to myself. It was awesome. Do not use the spa if you have an open wound, feeling unwell, or are pregnant. Children must be supervised in the spa area, and no diving. So this was like a lecture room for the coaches to talk to the players. Another look at a dressing room. This is a really good view of the scoreboard and the goalpost at the far end. And you can imagine how high up those top seats are right next to the scoreboard, how high off the ground they are. Oh, this is the Fremantle Dockers room. That's why it's a slight. I thought it might have been a neutral room, but it's the Fremantle Dockers. That's their colours. I don't follow AFL, so I don't really know their colours. So each of the home teams has their own dedicated change rooms and facilities. So this is more of a corporate area behind the glass. He's still pretty close to the action, so not that far away. View of the outside cladding that can light up for various events. Entering and exiting the stadium via stairs. Oh, this is another one of my funny signs. The sign says accredited entry point, so I'm pointing. Well done, mate. And there we go, outside the Optus Stadium tour. So, general traffic shot looks like in the centre of Perth. There's a train. So, we're still in Perth. Whoops, didn't mean to skip over that one so fast. Western Australia Fire Engine. Now these cat buses are really cool. They run around the centre of Perth, and they're a free shuttle service. CAT standing for Central Area Transit. And I think there's 3 different routes. I think there's the yellow, red and blue. And they're free, and you can just go around on this loop all day long if you want, and it's a free service that people use, not only for tourists, but locals use them as well. So this is the yellow cat, and they've all got a silhouette of a cat on the side. I think that's the old Commonwealth Bank building in Perth. Yeah, which is now a H&M. Don't know why I took a photo of this. Chicken katsu, deep fried panko crumb chicken fillet strips, and miso soup is not included in small meals. Small $7.20, large $9.20. Oh, that's a side view of another cat bus. So more cat as in panther on this occasion, not cat as in meow meow. Why don't I take a photo of this? Teriyaki beef. Beef strips cooked in teriyaki sauce. Miso soup is not included in small meal. $8.20 small. Large $11.20. Interesting artwork of a multicoloured dolphin in one of the shopping malls. Oh, they must have had a series of these dolphins painted around the city in different colours. That's probably what I was taking photos of. And I think this space rockety type looking building is like a part of the Botanic Gardens, I think, but I could be wrong. Sort of looks like an old style rocket from the outside. There's a Perth ambulance. Interesting here to note that this is a green and white ambulance, whereas in Australia a lot of them are white and red. But green is also more technically a first aid / medical. And I think over there St John Ambulance run the ambulance service over there. Oh, so I must have been in the car with a friend for this one, because this is a train in the middle of the freeway. I'm on the left-hand side of the car, so I'm definitely not, because I didn't drive. Oh, that's right. I think this might have been when I was coming back from Coburn, from the ice arena. Because Western Australia is so isolated from the rest of Australia, they're very strict on quarantine if you're coming in and out of WA with fruit and veg and whatnot. So there's always signs and sniffer dogs at the airport for quarantine purposes. Oh, this must have been when I was leaving Adelaide for Perth. Departing at 7:20 in the morning. That was an early flight for me. Love these shots at when you're above the clouds, having a window seat right near the engine. That's a pretty cool shot. I like that. And so that's another shot of it. Oh, so this must have been when I was leaving to do a trip, possibly this trip, leaving Penrith Station. And interesting, in the background there's a looks like the hotel or the apartments behind are under construction. They've been now well and truly finished for a few years now. Oh, this is a work one. The 204 service to empty train via the will now depart from platform 2. I think this sign was on this indicator was on platform 3. This is at 1:58 in the morning. So primarily the sign's for my benefit. The 204 service to empty train, so I'm going back to the depot, will now depart from the platform 2. The South Windsor Pie Stop, sponsor of Hawkesbury Radio Sport. I never did get a free pie. That was a cool promo photo for the Sydney Sirens. Game day versus Melbourne Ice at Canterbury. Memes. Oh, this is another example of the go button for a lift up and down and open. Not sure where this one was. No, Virgin. I used to fly Virgin Australia a lot back in the day. I was even platinum status with them for a while there. Oh, that one back there with the go button, that must be in Brisbane or at the airport. So again, a situation, instead of going up or down or whatever, you just press go and it goes. Oh, so this must have been when I went to Brisbane one time, because this is a sign for Brisbane's Air Train Rail Bus. You're thinking, what? The train that runs from Brisbane Airport to the city is technically called the Air Train, and because the Air Train was closed because of track work, so the Air Train was replaced by a rail bus. So some seats right down the back of the quote-unquote rail bus. There I am with all my mates, me, myself and I. So we're getting redirected to the buses at Roma Street. A slightly out of focus photo of a Queensland train there. Underground. Oh, that's at Central. Brisbane Central, not Sydney Central. Oh, the Springfield line. I don't think I actually made it to Springfield, but I took a photo of the Springfield line for Simpsons fans. Oh, this might have been that weekend where I went to Brisbane to watch the Goannas play in the Australian Women's League, do commentary up there. And then after the game, I hung around with some of the players and we went touring around the centre of Brisbane before their flight went back. So I think that's what this is. Nene chicken. Love me some Nene chicken. Haven't had any for a while, but had that a few times when I've been in Melbourne. It's Korean chicken. Speaking of chicken, bin chicken. It's an ibis. One actually stood still long enough so I can take a photo of it. Might be City Hall in Brisbane, I'm not sure. There's had some market in front. Oh, a suit Kate rummage. It's funny how sometimes when I'm scrolling through here and I think I'm going forward, the photo that I would have taken first comes up last because of the way that I'm going. I'm like, oh yeah, that sign tells me what I actually took the photo of. And these big yellow balls with black dots on them for some reason, I don't know. So this is probably 2018 as well. So this is at South Bank in Brisbane. So behind the Brisbane sign is, funnily enough, the Brisbane River. And this is in South Bank. Here we go. That's a better view of the Brisbane sign with my big head in it. So it's rather nice down there. Some water features. Looks like a man-made beach and swimming area. It's cool. Oh yes, Boondock Ice World. Here we are, home of what was then the Brisbane Goannas in the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League, and now the Brisbane Lightning in the Australian Ice Hockey League and the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League. It's been a long day. Doing a speed test at the rink and not getting much speed. The needle's barely coming off 0. Little improvement there, up to 61. Oh, so this would have been a sign at one of the airport stations telling us where the next train's going. Rainy look outside the window. Joe and the Juice. Interesting name for a cafe at an airport. Any Virgin social media person would have loved that. 3 Virgin planes there where you can see the tails, and one where you can see more of the middle of the plane with Virgin written there. So, Virgin, 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 Virgin. And a different angle of that same shot. Gate 32. Oh, this is during one of our industrial action periods. I think this may or may not have been one of the last times that I drove a train on the Carlingford line, which is interesting because I don't drive trains in suburban Sydney anymore on this line, and the line itself has been converted into a light rail line. I went and visited that line for the first time since it was converted into a light rail line the other day, and certainly a big improvement from one train every hour in each direction to a train every 7 to 10 minutes in the peak hour, because they're using more vehicles and double track compared to a single track. Oh yeah, I'm going to do some commentary at Icewild Boondall. As I said, I flew Virgin a lot back in the day. A Qantas plane shot from a Virgin plane. Oh, this is, so this must have been taking off to go to Brisbane. Qantas plane with some container infrastructure in the background. Virgin plane and some luggage being offloaded or loaded. Yeah, you can tell this sign's at an airport. Baggage should not be left unattended in this area. Any unauthorised baggage found may be seized or destroyed. So if it's authorised baggage, it's alright. Oh, I think one of the reasons that I took this photo, and the other photo really confirmed it, I think somebody, is that like a microwave oven or a convection oven in the background that somebody had checked in as luggage? Checked luggage? Oh, that's right. So Tagam's around the corner from the ice world at Boondall. So this was 10:26 in the morning, and it's 30 degrees already and going to go higher in Brisbane. Yeah, I was out for a walk. Oh, well, that tells me when it is, sort of over the 2017-2018 summer. School resumes on January 22, 2018. So hazard lights or flashing lights needed. It's a construction site. Oh, Colonial Village pool rules. Shauno and Jen, you'll be interested in this one. This was at the motel that I was staying in. No running, pushing, diving, backflips or dive bombing. All rubbish is to be placed in the bin provided. This area is a smoke-free environment. Glass is not allowed in the pool grounds. Children under the age of 12 must be accompanied by an adult. Boogie boards and surfboards are not permitted. Suitable swimming attire must be worn. Or actually it says clothing, not attire. Suitable swimming clothing must be worn. Foul, abusive, screaming or inappropriate language is not permitted. Inappropriate behaviour is not permitted. Alcohol and drugs are not permitted in the pool grounds. Influenced persons may be asked to leave. Food and drinks are not to be consumed in the pool. Patrons must follow any instructions given by an authorised person. Patrons must not damage property. For consideration of other patrons, please abide by the above Colonial Village management. I love these pool rule signs. They're awesome. Oh, and here's another one which is basically the same thing in just a different format. But only in Queensland have I seen a sign that says boogie boards and surfboards are not permitted at a swimming pool. Yep, Boondall Iceworld General Session. Lots of skaters there. Yeah, I found a drink bottle with a TV test pattern sticker on it, which was cool. Oh, so this must have been the tavern near the hotel. Tradies Lump of Rump Fridays was their special. The Zamboni's out at the Ice World. And looking at the scorers area and what is the central commentary position at Boondall Ice World in Brisbane. Going past the scoreboard. Another view of the scorers area and the CCP. And so at the far end of this table is the central commentary position. The scorers are here as well. And they operate the scoreboard and do the scoring. There's a view from the CCP, and unfortunately that big ventilation shaft, for the lack of a better word, can obstruct the view. Getting ready for commentary. I've got the jacket on now. I'm really serious. Jacket on, jacket off. Oh, that's right. Somebody at the end of the game, somebody was flying a drone, getting some shots. I think there were some figure skaters on the ice. So someone put a drone up. And the outside to Boondall Ice World. Oh, it's even got its own bus stop. There we go. You can catch the bus right out the front. And there I am outside Boondall Ice World. What? Part of a registration plate of a Queensland car that I saw in the car park. What? I was in a club one day and I saw this error message come up saying, no such channel. Yes. Oh, sorry, no such a channel. Yes. And channel spelt with 2 L's. If I'm remembering correctly, this is the Mooney RSL. So nice they named it twice. They usually only use that joke with Wowo, but I think it also applies to Mooney. You know you've hit the start of the Central Coast from Sydney when you're passing Mooney on the M1. Oh yes, there's that shot again of the binoculars I mentioned from Heathrow Airport on the last episode. So I'm at the observation tower of Heathrow Airport in London, and they've got these binoculars that you can look through to look at things from the observation deck, but they've also chained them down so you can't take them home, so you can't steal them. Oh, so now we're coming up to some simulated Erk screenshots, so I'll just zoom through these. So this is the start of simulated Erk playing cricket. There's another train to empty train. The new style indicators at the time in Sydney. Oh, this was a nice shot that one of the photographers took of all of our teams. This might have been the first year or two of the Big Inners Beer League at ISU in Sydney, where all 4 teams are there represented on grand final night. So I'm on the far left-hand side, right next to the the left arrow, actually, as it turns out. Great bunch of people I used to play hockey with. Is that it? Oh no, here we go. Oh, we might be coming up to some commentary photos from the Sydney Cricket Ground, the SCG. Or is... Yep, here we go. This must have been the night that I wasn't doing commentary, but I was doing practice commentary in one of the other empty commentary boxes during the Sydney grade cricket finals. Yep, that's exactly what this is. So they had enough commentators for the whole day, and so I got to watch in an empty commentary box right next door and do some commentary practice and watch the action. People used to come and hang out with me when they weren't commentating themselves. Okay, Google, set my alarm for 6 a.m. and it's a old style watch. Now this is an actually interesting screen cap from the Sydney Morning Herald. Would have been 2018. And there's a photo of an anaesthetist with his name and his title on his medical cap, so you know exactly who he is and what his job is. And the headline says, "They thought I was daft. Why surgery staff wear names on their foreheads?" And it's actually quite a good idea, because if you've got your surgical mask on and then your surgical cap, all you can see of this guy, you can see part of his nose, his eyebrows and his eyes, but you might not know who he is. So he's got his name Rob, and he's not a dentist, he's an anaesthetist. Hi Rob. But that's a really good idea, actually. Oh, I think I saw this billboard at Central. No two dreams are the same. Some train tracking. Oh, back at Benson's Lane, Hawkesbury Cricket. And Zamboni time at the Liverpool ice rink. So what probably happened, I probably had a game at Liverpool for the Sirens in the morning and then cricket at Hawkesbury in the afternoon. Yeah, that's Liverpool. And that's Canterbury. So this is where we were this is where the central commentary position would have been from Canterbury. Canterbury rinks at the moment is closed and is waiting to be basically knocked down and rebuilt. Train photo. Hi Erk, at work. There's my Jets. First hockey team I played with. Oh, Tiger Air, remember them? Virgin. Just trying to pick which airport this is. Australian Border Force notice the passengers this area will open 90 minutes prior to the departure of international flight. Is this Adelaide again? Oh, yes, I know which visit to Adelaide this was. I was doing commentary for the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League. I had to go to Adelaide for a Adelaide Rush game. And it was so hard to get accommodation because the men's cricket team were playing England for the Ashes in Adelaide. So there were lots of people over for that. And then there was this event going on, the 10th Pacific School Games. So it was really hard to get accommodation in Adelaide that weekend, and it was really hard to get flights in and out of there as well. And I remember, because it was sort of the last minute thing that I had to go over, I flew from Sydney, I went via Brisbane, and then I went to Adelaide. The guy that was going to be the camera operator and the operator of the whole shebang, he was driving over from Melbourne, but there was flooding, so he couldn't get there. So the old trusty iPhone got called back into action. There's a Bronto from South Australia Metropolitan Fire Service doing some more speed testing and not doing super well. Oh, yep, the Zamboni at Adelaide Ice Arena. So the way that the roof slopes like that in the background, there used to be an old artificial ski slope. So that's why it's sloping the way that it is behind the Zamboni. But the ramp doesn't operate anymore and hasn't for several years. But that's why it's an odd shape. They've been looking to replace the ice arena with a couple of new arenas in Adelaide they've been talking about for years, but it hasn't even got to the construction stage yet. Newsagent sign. We take cards, in brackets, FPOS only, no birthday card, no business card. Elysium's on Prey. Oh, a Scientology sign. I saw the free personality and IQ testing, no obligation, and I thought that's something that the Church of Scientology does, and then I saw down the bottom, Scientology.net, yeah, okay. So the Ashes were in town, so they had these hashtag Ashes signs at the airport. Qantas link. A sign from Virgin Australia. Guests, please note our public address system cannot be heard beyond this point. Guests are requested to remain within the Virgin Australia terminal so boarding announcements can be heard. And Qantas have got a similar sign that looks like it was made 40 years ago. Some Qantas planes. I have flown Qantas, but usually I do fly. Oh, so this bit's when I'm going to Brisbane first. Welcome to Brisbane. So yeah, I left from Sydney, went up to Brisbane. So I'm basically flying over Newcastle when I took this photo of the in-flight entertainment, and then I'll fly across to Adelaide. On the way back, fortunately, I was able to get a direct flight from Adelaide to Sydney. So some various places listed on the map there. Emergency exit, what? The Spectator Australia, I don't even remember that. Train photo. Oh, this is my old Subaru before I sold it. I moved up to here and things were starting to go wrong with it. You know, it needed its midlife refurb to put a train parlance on it. And I wasn't driving it much, so I sold it. So I went away for the weekend and parked in a parking spot. So I had to remember where I was when I came back, level 5. You have been assigned an exit receipt. Woohoo! Welcome to Adelaide. Actually, as much crap as people who don't live in Adelaide put on Adelaide, I actually don't mind the city. It's pretty cool. Oh, I remember this. This is when I was learning how to skate, and whenever I skated, I wore all my hockey gear. Now, my original plan was to go to Penrith, but they had a figure skating tournament on, so I had to go somewhere else. So I went to Borkham Hills to the Sydney Ice Arena that was still there. So this would have been from 2014, 2015. And I think it's rather funny that they gave me this note thinking that I was an actual hockey player, but I'm just learning how to skate. So I wear all my hockey gear. So the note reads, hockey players and the use of general sessions. In order to avoid a confronting appearance for other skaters, hockey players may wear hockey skates, a bike helmet, and if hidden under their clothing, i.e. jersey and normal pants, track pants, their elbow and knee guards. Hockey players may not wear their hockey helmet, hockey gloves, shoulder pads, or exposed elbow knee guards. Speed skaters and figure skaters also have limitations placed on them in general sessions to ensure a safe and enjoyable experience for general public skaters. Please remember that the general public skaters help the rink to make the necessary income to enable the proprietors to subsidise hockey training times that are currently provided at a reduced rate. So I was given this note and then basically told, you may now leave, sir. And they did refund my money that I paid. But hey, I'm in a general session here, so I'm also paying. They thought I was a hockey player. This is one of my favourite Wayne's World quotes that is very much underrated. The scene in Wayne's World 2 for Waynestock where they're talking to the albino person with the weird eye, and the quote is, they wanted to say cross the T's and dot the I's, and then the guy took his sunglasses off to reveal his weird eye, as Garth calls it. So Wayne changed the quote to cross the T's and dot the lowercase J's. Very underrated quote in Wayne's World 2. Oh, it's one of my favourite reports of a train incident ever from WA Today in Perth. In true Perth fashion, patrons have been left to wait a while as Pacific National and the Public Transport Authority solved the situation. This is when a wheel derailed on the Indian Pacific at East Perth Station. A Public Transport Authority spokesperson said that no one had been hurt and the situation was not serious, just a pain in the arse. And that's what they've actually written. So I'll read that quote again because it's too funny. A Public Transport Authority spokesperson said that no one had been hurt and the situation was not serious, just a pain in the arse. Crash testing for dummies. And there's a crash test dummy reading the Crash Testing for Dummies book. Funny. And a good Simpsons quote here. I love a Simpsons quote. Hello, work. This is Homer Simpson. I won't be coming in tomorrow. Religious holiday. The feast of maximum occupancy. I think that's the best Homer impersonation I've ever done. There's me skating again, looking for a pass. Commentary duties in Adelaide. And yes, looking at the Ice House in Melbourne. And the more of the camera. This is more of the camera position. The central commentary position in Melbourne is actually at ice level, which I found weird. I've never actually commentated inside the central commentary position in Melbourne. I've done a whole heap of games remotely where I can take advantage of the cameras being in the camera positions, but I've never commentated there at ice level in the central commentary position. So the Zamboni going around. Flight to Melbourne from Sydney. Oh, yes, this. I could not figure out what this was. This rash just grew on my leg and I couldn't figure out for ages what it was. It started out really small and then it expanded. It's sort of like the one that grew on the back of my leg for a while that I ended up calling my unicorn bite because I think I got bitten by a spider over the Easter weekend once, and I was going to go to the doctor, but it was the Easter weekend, so I thought I'll wait until it wasn't Easter anymore. And over that weekend it just exploded, but this is a separate one on the front of my leg. And as you can see, it looks rather gnarly. Never figured out exactly what it was in the end. It went away in time. And it was a bit painful, but it looked worse than it actually felt. more commentary photos, and another view of my gnarly whatever rash that was. Boarding by the rear door. VA flight 412 to Adelaide. Final call. Lots of beer for Ted. Oh, that's what I was looking. That's why I took a photo of it. NHL jerseys. Black Friday official NHL jerseys up to 80% off. And the funny thing is, they're not NHL jerseys at all. They're NFL jerseys. I'm going to have to do an episode on this, and I'm already thinking about it. It's just a matter of when to do it. I think I took a photo of this just to refer somebody to the podcast. But good job, Brain. Is one of the many podcasts that I listen to. I'm going to do an episode eventually listing all of the podcasts that I listen to, YouTube subscriptions that I have, etc. Good job, Brain. Oh yes, cricket commentary at Hawkesbury. Macquarie University Station. Now a metro station. Exceptional tower with super absorbent qualities. Oh yes, this is when I got the captain's hat for my Mascot Jets hockey team. Because what a lot of hockey teams do, they have some sort of thing that they hand around to the player of the week. So it's a hat, or it's a belt, or usually some sort of hat. Like it could be a miner hat, or a firefighter's hat, or in this place a ship captain's hat, to say that you're the most valuable player of the week, or the player's player, so to speak. There's a train at Liverpool. Oh yeah, I saw this sign at work. Door broken. Please close door gently. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. An old misspelt indicator. I think this was a Clyde station and they spelt Warwick Farm wrong. Yep, Warwick Farm still spelt there wrong too. Schmick. Aisle 3. Schmick. Don't know why. Oh, this is the ridiculous situation that I heard about where somebody was chaining the milk in the fridge so nobody could take the milk. And it's not as if it's special expensive milk, it's Coles milk from the supermarket. And yet somebody's chained the bottles of milk together so nobody can take them home. And I always had to laugh at this advertisement. Think normal is 2 hours plus a day in front of a screen? Rethink normal. But then again, and I'm not even including the fact here that I'm a train driver and I'm constantly looking at the front windscreen of a train. You think if you're a normal office worker that works 8 hours a day, okay, they might have, if they're really lucky, an hour off for lunch. And let's say they have a half hour for the sake of the maths, half hour for morning tea, half hour for afternoon tea, and an hour for lunch. So that's an hour and a half, 2 hours that they have not in front of the screen while they're having their break. Pardon me. So that still leaves 6 hours of work. So if your job is to, I don't know, use a computer, well, you've got 6 hours of your workday that you're probably going to be using a computer for. I get in this context that they're talking about children because there's a photo of a child on the poster. But when you're an adult working in an office, you're going to be there for more than 2 hours a day on a screen. And I remember once they told us at work under manual handling that we're only supposed to be driving trains for 4 hours. And I says, is this 4 hours at a time, or is this 4 hours in a day? And they said, 4 hours a day. And I says, well, gee, they will probably want to rethink that, because, our shifts as a general rule in suburban land, which is where I was at the time, was 8 hours. And even, you take some time off for meal breaks and in between trains, start shift, end shift, you're still working more than 4 hours on a train most days. Boarding assistance sign that they were starting to paint on platforms at the time for people using wheelchairs and requiring any other special assistance. Oh yeah, so this is the platform indicator for platform 1 at Clyde, back when the line ran to Sandown. And showing, don't even know what happened to those set of indicators now, if they're still there or they've been moved because they, I don't know. And this is how this indicator used to look for trains to Carlingford, which you can't catch a heavy rail train at Carlingford anymore. There I am at Hornsby, looking very orange. There's my I'm waiting to receive a pass shot again. A pass, I should say, not a shot. And this is the newer version of the time of the indicator for Carlingford. So I was working late that night. Next train in 33 minutes, and then the next train after that, which would have also been me, in an hour 34. And this photo was taken at 11:21 p.m. and 46 seconds. Internal clock, which is supposed to be the clock of truth to tell us what the actual time is. 22:08 and 17 seconds in this case. Oh, yes, my obsession with If You Were the One. My God, that's been a while. We had a Chinese dating show which got shown in Australia on SBS TV called If You Were the One. And I actually think it might have come back onto SBS. I think they might be showing it again. So there's a series of 24 girls who are on a stage, and in front of them is a podium. And a guy comes out and he talks with the girls, and he talks with the hosts. And at the start, when he first comes out, they've got all the girls have got their lights on to say that they're still interested in potentially dating this guy. And so they talk to him, and they show 3 videos that the guys had made before, telling them a little about himself and what he's looking for in a lady, all of that sort of stuff. And then if at some stage the lady's not interested in dating the guy anymore, they turn off their light and their podium goes pink. And then eventually one of 3 things happens. All the girls turn their lights off, and then he goes home empty-handed, and he doesn't get a date. And then it comes down at the end of his segment. It comes down to 2 ladies, and he has to choose. Or there's one lady, and they go on a date. And the guy here wearing a baseball uniform says on his video, "I love you faithfully just as I've loved baseball." Now, one of the things I found out, because I actually went to a talk which was led by the lady who was in charge of doing subtitling for the show and for SBS. Because they have Cantonese and Mandarin in China, and also various regional dialects, and they were doing the subtitles for an Australian audience because it wasn't dubbed, they determined that they didn't need to write every single word down that they said. So in this case, he may not have actually said, "I love you faithfully just as I've loved baseball." But that's the gist of what he was saying. So they've written it down. Because they've figured out that you can only read so many words at a time while you're trying to read subtitles and watch the guy at the same time. So they didn't want 25 million words on the screen because that's what he said. But they've basically summarised it for us to say, "I love you faithfully just as I've loved baseball." Now, anyone who was listening to the show who spoke Cantonese or Mandarin might be able to tell you that he said something else as well, who knows. But I don't speak Mandarin or Chinese, to the surprise of no one. So that's... And there's probably a whole heap of those coming up in that case. Another Qantas plane. Are we freezing? Are we freezing here? Here we go. Another Qantas plane from a different angle. Maybe Melbourne. It looks like Tullamarine. Oh, and here I am in Melbourne wearing a Bears jersey on a Melbourne tram. I was obviously going out to some sort of hockey dinner that night. Oh, this is... the Melbourne Ice winning a good old cup. And so that's a tradition in hockey. As soon as you win the championship, you go and everyone comes off the bench and rushes towards their goalie. So the Ice beat the Brave 4-3. I was talking about championship banners earlier on, and there's championship banners that have been won by the Melbourne Ice women's and men's team, and that's only some of them. Pre-game huddles. A few of us having our photo taken with a good old cup. And me trying not to touch it because I haven't won it. And my friend Ellie. Some interviews going on. Various people having their photo taken with a cup, me included. The Goodall Cup, which is the trophy that the winners of the Australian Ice Hockey League get, is one of the oldest hockeys in trophy. What? It's been a long day. One of the oldest hockey, did I say jerseys? Trophies. Jesus Christ. One of the oldest hockey trophies in Australia. Couple of trams at the tram stop at Docklands. City Circle trams, the old heritage trams. More photos in front of the cup for various people. More tram photos. It's seemingly random, but it's just the order that I uploaded them in, obviously. City Circle trams. Following the tram. Melbourne train. Another Melbourne train. That's the viaduct near Flinders Street. That's an old phone. I think that might have been at the hotel that I was staying at. Yep, that's an old phone. Oh, I think I won the Media VIP award for our media people at the time. So there's the scoreboard and some of the banners at the Ice House in Melbourne. Great spot to watch hockey from behind the glass there at the South. It's funny, that end gets called by Melbourne Ice supporters the South Pole end. and they can't really be at the other end because that's where the Zamboni comes in and out. But they call themselves the South Pole. But the funny thing about the South Pole, and during Melbourne Ice Games they put up a banner that says the South Pole end. The funny thing is that the South Pole is actually at the northern end of the ice house in Melbourne. Find that hilarious. Good old cup for the glass. That's the ice. Looking down from the bottom of the top of the grandstand towards the ice bench and the logo on the ice. And we're underway. Mustangs playing the ice. At a zebra conference. It's probably looks like Liam Webster. Lining up for the Australian National Anthem. Oh, so old mate's got a South Pole jersey, number 69, and I've got an Erk 69 jersey. That number's taken, my dude. Somebody turned that into a Mitch Humphries jersey. So they're actually doing the edges of the ice there to make sure that it's all neat and tidy up against the boards. It's a magnificent stadium, the Ice House in Melbourne. That's the main spectator side. There is, behind that wall is another rink for general sessions, so they can curtain the hockey rink off and two rinks can operate independently. Oh, this is when they were doing construction for all the new shops, etc. at what used to be called Harbour Town, opposite Costco and the rink. So there was lots of. Well, I'm not made in Melbourne for Melbourne, but the dream is. There's a fire engine. Another Melbourne-made tram for Melbourne, which is. Don't mind that series, actually. And the Skybus. It's funny, Melbourne Airport got named as Australia's best airport for passengers the other week in some sort of survey. And Melbourne doesn't even have a train to the airport. You've got to catch the Skybus or regular buses. So the pink Skybus and the more normal red Skybus. Oh, we're moving into V-Line diesel loco haul territory at Southern Cross. Don't know if there's any loco haul V-Line services left. They're all getting replaced by Velocities. Yeah, I think I saw this clip on a TV. Two hockey players there. I don't even want to try and remember. It's a nice room just in the centre of Melbourne, nice and cheap. City Circle tram. Love those old trams going around Melbourne. Melbourne's a fantastic city for trams. Matthew Guys, save your communities, protecting your future. Victorian Liberal leader, what's he done lately? So now they're talking about authorised officers either in uniform or in plain clothes for Public Transport Victoria. Some scaffolding there. Or some, I don't know if you call it bracing, I think you'd call that. Holding that wall up. Me somewhere wearing a Bears jacket again. Jim's fire safety is dead set into everything, isn't he, Jim, these days? It's just not about mowing anymore. Inside the Heritage City Circle tram. Was this the year that I was... Oh, this was... I don't even know what that's about. Building under construction next door to where I was, I think. looking over towards the ice house. Oh, and the Melbourne Wheel again, which I think last time I was there is still there, but it's just closed. Melbourne Tram. Saw that photo before. Don't know why I took a photo of that. Oh, this must be baggage claim in Melbourne. Flying over the snowy mountains from Sydney, I think. Oh, Sydney beaches. Air Canada, eh? Rear end of an indigenously liveried Qantas plane. Oh, I like this. This was at Sydney Airport. They've got these pens on display and some papers so you can try them out. And somebody's written fancy pen, and someone's written in different handwriting slightly less fancy pen. Oh, the automatic check-in for your luggage with Qantas. Train travel, good for Sydney. Advertising the airport link. Some food. Don't even know. I'm doing some renovations, I think. Oh, this is the room that I stayed in before I went to Melbourne. I'll do that sometimes if I've got an early flight. I'll actually stay close to the airport. There's old mate again in 69. That's a good view. I don't think that's one of my shots. I think that's a shot. Definitely not one of my shots. That one of the photographers took. That one there, I know it's fishbowl, but it really shows the rink off really well. And it also shows the central commentary position of the ice house down there in front. The four guys there. Was it four? No, five guys in there at the time of this photo. In the central, setting up the central commentary position. And I think the lady there under the left arrow, I think I saw her yesterday at the Newcastle Mustangs game as I'm recording this, if I remember. Motivation at Pilates, whatever your 100% looks like, give it. So they're recognising that sometimes it might not be able to give 100% compared to normal, but whatever you can do on that day, that's what you give. That's probably a good place to end this episode. I'll come back with another similar episode at a later stage with some more memories, because who knows, I've got a lot of memories and a lot of photos. I've been Simulated Erk. Whatever your 100% looks like, give it. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Don't forget, the NTL Sticker Collective t-shirt of the episode is the one that I'm wearing now. Use discount code ERKPOD10 for 10% off any purchase. ntlstickercollective.com.au/democracy manifest. 10% off any purchase with the discount code ERKPOD10 for any of the succulent Chinese meal Democracy Manifest collection designed by me. I've been Simulated Erk. You've been wonderful. Thank you very much for watching, and ta-ta and farewell.